Hello, beautiful people. Today we're going to be talking about 5.1 rate of change and slope. Rate of change is basically just the rate that two things are changing at the same time. So it might be my height over time. It might be the length of my hair over time. It's usually something is changing over a period of time. It's usually our easiest one to relate to. Our vocabulary kind of just went over the rate of change. Slope, though, this is super duper important, so you want to make sure that you memorize this. Slope is the ratio of horizontal change or rise over vertical change or run between two different points on a line. So it's how much it's going up or down over how much it's going left or right. So for this first one right here, you would probably want to highlight this because it's your vertical change over horizontal change, but really rise over run, super duper important. It's how much you're going up or down over how much you're going left or right. Know that. Okay, so the first one that you have here is find the slope of each line. They're giving us a graph, and we're not even going to think about an equation. I know some of you have seen it before, but no one cares right now at this very moment. We're going to talk about just using definition. It's the vertical change and it's the horizontal change between 2 points on a line. So pick 2 points. So here's a point and here's a point. It doesn't matter which 2 points you choose. Absolutely not. Who cares? Not me. So once you pick your 2 points and okay, here's what does matter though. You want to pick points that go exactly, like you can tell exactly where it is. See, this is like 2. You don't want to go for like 2.5 because not everyone loves fractions, but also because it's really difficult to make this work. So once you pick your 2 points, you're going to give yourself directions from one point to the other. Another thing that doesn't matter which point you choose. I'll start here, and then remember it's rise over run. So I just basically want to give myself directions. So I need to go up a certain amount. How much did I go up? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to go to the right 1, 2 blocks. So if it's rise over run, then I rose 4 and I ran 2, which equals 2. Don't believe me? Let's see it with another one. So let's say I picked, instead of those 2 points, let's pretend I picked this point and this point. And instead of going up first, let's say I went down. I went down 1, 2. So if I go down 2, I'm going negative 2. And then I run left 1, negative 1. So what's negative 2 divided by negative 1? Also 2. So either way, no matter which 2 points, no matter where you start from, you're going to get that your slope is 2. Take a moment and pause really quickly and try to do the same thing for number 2. Okay, so what did I do? I chose 2 different points, and I chose to go down 3 and right 3. So I have negative 3 over 3, which is negative 1. If you chose 2 over negative 2, you still get negative 1. If you chose negative 1 and then right 1, or up 1 and then left 1, no one cares. You still get negative 1 for your slope. All right, very good. Let's keep going. Now, for this part, it says find the slope of each line. A little bit different for us, in that now I don't want you to graph it. If they just give you 2 coordinates, I don't want you to graph it. Instead, I would like for you to use what's known as the slope formula, and that is m equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. When I'm saying sub, it means subscript. So y subscript 2. Y sub 2. This is an important formula. If you didn't write it down as I was writing it, do that now because it's super important. You're going to need to memorize it, like 100% memorize it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do always is to label. So I know that for coordinates it goes x and then y. So this is x and this is y. This is x and this is y. Now my first pair will get the 1s. The second pair gets the 2s. From here, once you've labeled, and you do need to label, then the next thing I want you to do is just plug directly into that formula. So instead of y sub 2, I'm going to write 0 minus y sub 1, which for me is 1, over x sub 2, which is 0, minus x sub 1, which is 2. So it's looking like this is -1 over -2. So my slope is equal to 1/2. I didn't say m equals 1/2. It's slope. Use the word slope. Why? Because I will take off a point. I'm not asking you for a variable. I'm asking you for an actual term. Okay, so what was the first thing I just did on the last one? The first thing I did was label, and that's what I want to do here as well. So I know that it goes x, y, x, y. First pair gets the ones. Don't do 1, 2. I know it's natural. 1, 2. No. 1, 1. And 2, 2. First pair. Keep the labeling really, really consistent. Because really that's the only hard thing about this. And that's not even hard. It's just don't mess up. So next thing I want us to do, pretty please, is let's plug in. So y sub 2, that's -3, minus y sub 1. So y sub 1 is -4. Now because it was a negative number, I put it in parentheses. This way I don't mess up. And then x sub 2, -6, minus x sub 1, which is 8. Then we'll do a little simplification. I'm subtracting a negative, so I'm going to add the opposite. -3 plus 4 is 1 over -6. I could add the opposite here as well, and I get -14. So my slope is -1 over 14. I just brought this negative up so it looks a little bit cleaner. Alright, guess what I want you to do? Press that wonderful pause button. Don't be lazy, actually do it. And then try the next one. If you don't press it pause now, you're going to have to press pause later on because I'm going to check to see if you did this problem. Thanks! Okay, bueno, if you did not press pause, do it now and write this down because you do need this example. Label first, plug in, and you get -2 over 5 for your slope. Alright, onward. The next thing that they would like for me to do is find the slope of each line. These lines, for number 6 and 7 on the back of your paper, look a little bit different than 1 and 2 on the front. It's because 1 is kind of just a flat line, and then 1 is just a vertical line. So this is horizontal, this is vertical. We're going to use the same method, but these are kind of special cases. Special to me, and maybe special to you. I don't know. Probably not, though. Okay, so what's the first thing we did on the back side? Nice review. Pick 2 points. So here's a point. And here's a point. And then we remember that it is rise over run. Well, rise is how much I need to go up or down. I'm not going up, and I'm not going to go down anywhere, so it's 0. Over, how much do you run? 1, 2, 3, 4 on this one. Well, it's 0 over 4, so that means my slope is 0. Not what we would normally say here, 0 slope. There you go. Okay, now for number 7, looks a little bit different. I'm still going to pick 2 points. Let's say I pick these 2. And my rise for this one, I'm going to go up 2. That's my rise. And then my run, well, I'm not going left, I'm not going right, so that's going to be 0. What happens when you have 0 in the denominator? I hope that you answered me out loud because I think it would be funny if while you're watching this video you end up talking to me. But anyways, it's funny. Anytime you have 0 in the denominator, it's undefined. So I would say undefined slope. And now I'm going to tell you, every single time that you have a vertical line, it's going to be an undefined slope. Every time that you have a horizontal line, you're going to have a 0 slope. 0. There's no slant in that line. Alright, look at that, guys. We're doing well. Let's do a couple of word problems if you don't mind. And you don't mind, because I said you don't mind. Without graphing, tell whether the slope of the line that models each linear relationship is positive, negative, 0, or undefined. Then, find the slope. Okay, so number 8, the cost of tickets to an amusement park is $19.50 for 1 ticket and $78 for 4 tickets. Well, what's happening in this situation? Well, the more tickets that I buy, the more money that it's going to cost me. Kind of makes sense. So if it's increasing, like the more that I buy, the more that the money goes up, then this is going to be a positive because it's increasing. Let's write that down. Increasing with each ticket. So it's going to be a positive slope. So if I were to graph it, it was going to look like that, which makes it a positive slope. The next thing that they asked me to do is to then find the slope of this actual line. Excuse me. Well, in order to do that, I need coordinates for this. So I know that for one ticket, it's going to cost me $19.50. And I know that for 4 tickets, it's going to cost me $78. So now we have coordinates. And the reason why I put this as the y and this as the x is because the cost depends on the x. From here, guys, I would love for you to label x, y, x, y. First one gets the 1s, second pair gets the 2s, and then we're going to plug in. So 78 minus 1950, and then 4 minus 1. So the denominator, kind of easy, it's just 3. And then if you trust my math, and I hope that you do, I get 58.5 for the numerator. And then when I divide this, I get 1950. Well, that kind of makes sense because we said it was $19.50 for one ticket, so the rate of change is just going to be $19.50 for every single ticket. Let's try the next one. Let's take a look. 2 pounds of 2 pounds of apples. Skipped that whole entire word, didn't I? 2 pounds of apples cost $3.98. 6 pounds cost $11.94. So really what we're doing here is kind of like when we found the unit rate. Well, the cost of the apples depends on how many apples you actually buy in the situation. So I would do probably the number of apples and then the cost. So number of apples and then the cost. Okay, what do you say? Is it going up? Is it going down? Is it zero slope? Well, the more apples I buy, the more that it's going to cost me. So this is also going up. It's increasing. So that would be a positive slope. And then go ahead and do what we just did on the last one and plug in. So let's write it as a coordinate first and then plug in the same one that you did just now for number 8. Pause if you would, please. All right. Looks good to me. Hopefully you press pause. I don't know. Some of y'all I don't quite believe, but others of us I do very much so. So look at this, check it, and see I got $1.99. What that kind of translates to is your cost is increasing by $1.99 per pound. So every pound you buy, it's going to increase by $1.99 per pound. Okay, let's get to this last one so we can stay within our 15-minute maximum here. Each pair of points lies on the line with a given slope. So let's remember slope is the m, and then the points are x and then y. So I'm going to go ahead and get to labeling if you don't mind. And I have x, y, and I have m equals 1/4. I know that my first pair gets the 1s and the second pair gets the 2s. So think back, if you would please. M is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Plugging in now, instead of m, sorry guys, my throat. Instead of m for this equation, I'm going to write 1/4 equals y sub 2, which is y. I don't know what that is. I'm looking for that because it says find y, minus y sub 1, which is 4, over x sub 2, which is 3, minus x sub 1, which is 7. Sorry, brain fart. 1 over 4 is equal to y minus 4 over 3 minus 7 is negative 4. And I'm basically, they told me to find y, so I'm going to go ahead and multiply times negative 4 times negative 4. Wonderful thing happens here. These cancel and I just have negative 1 equals y minus 4. Add 4. Add 4, and I find that y is equal to 3. Found y. Found it. Okay, thank you so much for joining me. Enjoy your day.